great white shark, a deadly predator, feared as a cold-blooded killer. And so vicious, studying them means risking this. Their brutal bite is legendary, but little else is known about these monsters, especially where they give birth.
It's one of the least understood fishes in the ocean. We have to know where it goes to give birth.
For the first time, one man is on a mission to unravel this mystery.
Tail rope right now.
Michael Domeyer, a maverick scientist with a fearless approach that could help save the species.
We're putting our own lives at risk, honestly.
Along with a team of experts,
See it, bro?
he'll risk life and limb to reel in these 3-ton monsters.
This is an apex predator. This is one of the top dogs of the sea. They're just cool as hell.
But to pull this off, Michael will need to get within arm's reach of the biggest bite in the water.
Keep on the side boat.
2,000 miles off the coast of California, on the Pacific island of Hawaii, scientist Michael Domeyer is working to crack the great mysteries of the great white shark.
It's my job to come up with answers, but dealing with these animals is not easy.
Growing to 20 feet long and weighing up to 3 tons, this ferocious predator spawned the legend of Jaws. These monsters are extremely rare and always have been. Supremely aggressive, they're incredibly hard to study.
You can't jump in the water with them and watch them without putting yourself in peril.
Michael's now trying to figure out the great white's biggest mystery, where they go to give birth. While some fish spawn over vast areas, Michael thinks great whites go somewhere specific to pup.
Females only give birth once every 2 years. Well, where the heck did they go?
To find their birthplace, Michael is focused on an island off of Mexico, which could be ground zero for great white mating.
The only place I found great white shark males and great white shark females to be in the same place at the same time, Guadalupe Island.
He believes they could travel from Guadalupe Island into the Sea of Cortez to give birth. The only way to work out if this is true is to track them from the time they mate. Most tracking devices drop off after a few months. Not enough time to follow a shark that's pregnant for nearly twice as long as humans. So now Michael's using a revolutionary kind of tag and a new way of putting it on that could be the key to unraveling the mystery of Jaws' birthplace. This new tag will give more than 2 years' data. To make it work, he needs to haul huge sharks right alongside his boat, then attach it by hand. This makes it more dangerous for Michael. Much more dangerous.
Leaving that shark in the water is scary. I'm not sure how that's going to go down.
So first, he must put his idea to the test on smaller sharks.
White sharks are giant, they're dangerous. It would be hard to just go in the field and do it with them for the first time. So here in Hawaii, we have tiger sharks. We'll target them first.
But tiger sharks are no small fry. Growing to 18 feet long and weighing nearly a ton, they've a reputation for ferocious assaults on surfers. Globally, they're held responsible for 29 unprovoked fatalities. Michael's boat skipper, Brad, knows the dangers firsthand. 2 years ago, he got tangled up in the line and was dragged into the lair of a 10-foot tiger shark. This time, he's hoping to stay topside.
Hey, bro.
Michael's work is so cutting edge, it's attracted attention around the world. Actor Paul Walker has broken off filming his latest movie to join the mission.
What you got? What's different? How things mixed up here?
The biggest one is we're not lifting the shark out of the water. We're going to do all the work over the side. It's harder on us, but it's much better for the shark.
Let's go do it.
Before Paul joined Hollywood's A-list, he studied marine biology.
Michael's living the life in a way that I always wanted. I grew up, my idol was Jacques Cousteau. You know, I wanted to be Indiana Jones meets Jacques Cousteau as a kid. And, you know, life took me a different direction. And so this, in a way, really allows me to have my cake and eat it, too. Because Michael, obviously, you know, as respected as he is within the community, as knowledgeable he is, there's a help me, help you component that we got going that makes it pretty sweet.
Paul's worked with Michael before, helping him haul huge great whites out of the water. It was easier for humans, but harsher on sharks.
we're out here, we want to do good. The last thing we want to do is put these sharks through more than they need to be put through. So if we can accomplish the agenda by tagging the shark without removing them from their element, it's always better. So, that's what we're out here to do.
The team has to catch up fast with Michael's new approach.
Now, what's this about?
This is one of my latest ideas of how to reduce the impact on the sharks we catch. We certainly don't want to hook them anywhere but the mouth. The throat, the gut, bad. So just using a piece of PVC pipe mounted like this in front of the hook prevents the shark from taking more than this amount in its mouth.
I'm surprised that this doesn't scare them off.
I was concerned about that too.
There's no way of telling if this will work without getting the gear in the water.
I really don't want to go to Guadalupe Island without testing this stuff first. The only way to test this gear is to get it on some sharks.
Paul scatters a chum of crushed fish to lure them in. Sharks can detect blood up to 3 miles away, and some species can smell out 1 drop of blood in 10 billion drops of water. The chum should turn on the tiger shark's feeding impulse and put them on a direct path to the hook.
Tiger sharks spend a lot of time deep, so even though our chum is at the surface, we're fishing deep.
You give them the pet top, drop them in. Yeah, come on, right one. I think we got a better than 50-50 shot. That's what I'm feeling.
We're not picky about eating. That's a good thing, but you got to find them.
Once the line's in, all they can do is wait.
I was a part of that Jaws generation. I caught that as a kid. It scared the hell out of me. Born and raised in Southern California and surfing my whole life, and it's one of those things that goes unsaid. When you're sitting in the lineup, don't bring up shark. You don't do it.
It is a very dangerous animal, and it can turn around and eat you.
One of the big ones that gets me, it's a mistaken identity when a white shark hits somebody, paddling or running into shore. No, white shark hits somebody because a white shark can hit somebody.
It's a stimulus. They see something, and then it's a response. It looked like food, therefore it was food.
It looks like Michael's going to have to do more to make his bait look like food.
This bait's been in the water the whole time. It looks just like it did when it went in. That's not a good sign.
They search all along the coastline, angling for a bite. More than 40 species of sharks swim here, from small harmless reef sharks to huge whale sharks. And with all this blood in the water, there's gotta be sharks here.
When you're dealing with a top predator, they're just naturally not as abundant as sardines and anchovies and little reef fishes. So some of it is just luck, and we just try to make educated guesses that'll make us luckier.
I think we deserve it. Nice guys, right?
However educated Michael's guess, luck is not on their side.
I think the thing is, we are working against the clock.
Paul's being called back to work on his movie.
Hoping I was going to bring a little luck. You know what they say, right? That's why they call it fishing, not catching. That's right.
It's a disappointment for Paul, but Michael forges ahead. He has to test this gear to see if he'll be able to use it on great whites. Switching boats, he tries a Hail Mary, traveling more than 30 miles offshore. There could be anything in these waters.
Already? Right there. You got him. Oh, there's a big shark right here.
Scientist Michael Domeyer has a revolutionary way of tracking sharks. It could be the key to unlocking the mystery of where great whites give birth.
There he goes. There he goes. Done. We got him.
Before he takes on the fiercest predator in the ocean,
Coming this way.
he needs to test the tags on smaller sharks to actually make sure they work.
Galapagos sharks.
Galapagos sharks are commonly around 10 feet long, with 14 rows of teeth. They are potent predators. In 2008, one launched a fatal, unprovoked attack.
Sliding just like it's supposed to. Let it slide. A little bit more. There it is.
Michael and his team have to secure this angry shark to the boat.
Gets a big tailer and a tail rope too. A little bit slower now. Okay, hang on. Okay, Randy, go. Just idle for a second. That's a ticket. Now we got him.
Jaws won't give up this easily. This shark weighs around 300 pounds. A great white will be at least 10 times heavier.
Now we're going to rope on the tail. Now we're going to get a head rope on. You got him? Wow. Way to go, Brad.
Michael makes sure the shark has water running through its gills by keeping the boat moving forward. This way, he's sure it's getting oxygen. Now he can attach the tracker.
Bam, Galapagos sharks. Wasn't one of the sharks I thought about tagging, but, to test these methods, I'll take advantage of it because they'll carry this tag as good as anything.
Michael needs to drill a single hole through the cartilage of the shark's dorsal fin.
The hole, make a mark. I don't want to lose my template. Okay.
There are few nerves in the fin, and the procedure is like piercing an earlobe. If the shark thrashes, Michael could end up harming the animal or himself with the drill.
Get the tag in. No. Bolt. It's on. It's quick. Let's put a pop-up tag on now. There it is. Hooks out. That was easy.
Brad carefully releases the head rope. And none the worse for its alien abduction, the shark swims off, armed with its mini computers.
Nice. See, that's why swimming perfect. Thank you, Brandy. Perfect. We're done. We got a little bit of practice, and I see we got some things to work on, but that shark swam away really strong. We never took it out of the water. Very healthy fish.
It's a great success. The tags are working. But this is a practice run on the way to making it work with far bigger sharks. Great whites will be more than twice as long, more than 10 times the weight, and much more dangerous. While Michael thinks Guadalupe Island is where they mate, there's no evidence they give birth here. Instead, he believes some pregnant females could travel from this island to give birth in the Sea of Cortez off Baja, California. And he's getting reports they're being caught and killed in this exact same area of Mexico.
There's a picture on the internet of some guy holding a set of jaws and his head was cut off so you couldn't tell who he was. That really concerned me because I believe the mature female great white sharks come here to pup, which would make them very vulnerable to fishing.
If this is where great whites come to give birth, both they and their babies could be in mortal danger. Unlike many fish that spawn thousands of babies, great whites produce as few as 3 in each pregnancy. If Michael can find evidence here of dead baby great whites, it will help further his theory that this is where females come to give birth.
Oh, here's a hammerhead. Scallop hammerhead.
It's clear fishing for other kinds of sharks is going on. Michael's pushing his luck. He's not welcome, and many of the fishermen won't talk about great whites.
Look, they're afraid. They're not supposed to be catching white sharks, and they don't want to get in trouble.
Michael keeps pushing, and finally finds one that will. This fisherman says adult great whites arrive in May.
He says, we believe they come here to give birth. I'm going to ask him if he's ever seen a baby shark here, and that's a key question. Nacho, have you ever seen a niño? So now he says, yes, we're catching baby white sharks. We finally got someone to say, yeah, we catch them.
But fish stories aren't always reliable. As a scientist, Michael needs to see hard evidence of a baby great white. He gets a tip to check out the place fishermen dump the remains.
Oh my. Buzzer just tipped me off to this spot. Oh my gosh. That is disgusting.
There are piles of more common thresher and mako sharks here. So finding a baby great white in this vast killing field seems impossible.
Oh my God. Look at the perfect symmetry, the serrations. It's a white shark tooth. It was right there, just like that, obviously from a very small animal.
Even a baby great white's tooth is unmistakable because it's so symmetrical. This tooth is a huge find, but it won't be enough to convince everyone this is where great whites give birth. The only way Michael can get undeniable proof is to find baby great whites in the water. And that means tracking pregnant females. His best lead is to head to Guadalupe Island. 150 miles off the Mexico coast, the island is a hotspot for adult great whites, both males and females.
There are sharks all over this island. It's like a conveyor belt of sharks.
Adult great whites like those here are in a different league from other species of sharks. Scientists say they can bite with the greatest force of any living creature. To find proof this island is where they mate, Michael's asked for help from shark diver and cameraman Andy Casagrande.
I've been filming white sharks all over the world, and this is by far one of my favorite places to film them, primarily because the visibility is so awesome, but also there's mega sharks here.
The only way great white male sharks can hold onto females during mating is by biting them, most often on the gills and pectoral fins. Andy's going to be searching for fresh scarring from his shark cage, but he has to leave one side open to get the shots.
You never know. It's not the shark you can see you got to worry about. It's the one that's down 100 feet with its chin wagging coming up at you. Good to go.
Andy gets in position while the team start chumming the water. This turns on the great white's inbuilt feeding response. In a split second, Andy's face to face with a huge great white coming straight at him.
Coming towards the cage.
Wow, look at that.
Scientist Michael Domeyer is working to solve the mystery of where great white sharks give birth by first focusing on where they mate. Cameraman Andy Casagrande is trying to help him by looking for signs of mating, like scars and scratches. And now he's face to face with a huge, hungry great white.
Coming towards the cage. She's hitting the cage. She came up for the bait, and she got it, and then she smacked up into the cage. Oh, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, Andy, that looked pretty sporty from up here. We all got pretty wet.
The shark could be sexually mature, but Andy can't yet see any evidence of fresh bite marks that would prove great whites are mating here.
We have to use the other one that we're going to have to drill.
With other great whites circling, Michael wants to seize the moment and start tagging.
That's the right one, Oscar. Okay.
He's leaving the safety of the large dive boat, using a 20-foot catch boat to try and tag a predator that could bite him in half.
We've never done this before with such big animals. These sharks are going to weigh more than the boat. If it gets too aggressive and too much movement, she could flip the boat over.
Michael's using a small hook to minimize harm, but it's a risk. The bigger sharks could shake free.
It might not work, but we won't know unless we try. Right here, she's coming towards us. Right here. We're just going to keep in front of her now. There he's on it, all right.
On their hook is a 15-foot great white. This shark weighs in at more than 2,500 pounds.
The tail's going to come up right about now. Whoa.
Now it's at the surface. They have to wrestle it alongside the boat so Michael can attach ropes to secure it.
Did the teeth come off? Yes. Did the hook straighten? Yes.
The shark straightened the small hook and spat it out.
What we might have to do is release the fish if we can't get a hold of the head again.
With nothing holding it, the shark's head is out of their control.
You got that, Eric? Well, let's see if we can get a tail rope on that pectoral fin. You see it, Keith? Nope. Oh, my gosh. Shark, straight up and down.
With its head hanging down, they have to act fast.
We gotta get this fish back in the water.
There's no question what Michael must do. The shark's safety is now an urgent priority.
We've got 15 feet of shark hanging down. The safest thing to do is cut the rope.
The shark swims off unharmed. For Michael, it's a harsh lesson in the difference between catching small sharks and these huge great whites.
Definitely tested our gear and taught us a few lessons. You just never know what's going to happen. I mean, I know how to catch these sharks in a certain way, but we're trying to do it easier on the shark, and it's harder on us right now. We need a little more time to work these methods out.
While Michael and his team rebuild the hook, cameraman Andy Casagrande is back in the water, looking for evidence of great whites mating.
All right, we're back in business. It's a female.
Here she is.
Awesome shark. This is definitely a sexually mature female.
But her skin is clear of cuts or scars. Suddenly, there's another large female circling Andy.
Yeah, the shark is down deep under the boat. She's turning. Yeah. Oh yeah, here she comes.
She is massive.
She is huge.
That's one of the biggest females that we've seen here.
Holy sh**. She's got big bite wounds along her left flank and her right flank. Holy. Basically, this is exactly the shark we've been waiting for. A big female with telltale signs of potential mating.
Wow. I can see them from here, from the surface.
Yeah, right there on her gill slit and just behind. It doesn't get any more obvious than that.
If we're seeing bite marks now, they happen here. It couldn't have happened offshore at sea because they heal very rapidly.
Those are pretty much telltale signs of mating. Beautiful.
This is concrete proof that great whites come to Guadalupe Island to mate.
Yes, but give a second, we got a shark just came up on us.
The hooks are fixed. Michael is ready to start tagging again.
Oh, man. Close. Yes.
They know they're in the right place. These sharks are actively mating.
No noises.
Michael can't afford to let this one slip away. He's making some changes to his approach, hoping 2 small hooks will work better than 1. This time, he wants to keep the shark's head under control, but there's no guarantee this will make it safer for his crew.
Here we go, maybe. Oh, yeah, she's looking... That's a beefy one.
Weighing in at around 4,000 pounds, this female's a good deal heavier than their boat. Michael wants her tagged because it's likely she'll become pregnant in the next few months.
Let's go.
She's gonna eat.
She dives vertically, taking most of their line with her.
She's going deep. I'm turning her up. I'm doing a 90 degree to the...
He's already lost 1 shark. Now he faces losing another, a shark that could hold the answer to where great whites give birth.
Don't do that. Oh, hang on.
Scientist Michael Domeyer is working to unravel the mystery of where great white sharks give birth. He's trying to land a 4,000-pound female that could provide the answer. But this huge great white has other plans.
We're going to try to hang on to them if we can. It may not be very possible.
She's pulling so hard that she threatens to tip the boat over.
If you have to.
She's going deep. Not that way, man, I believe.
Oh, that way?
I believe so.
Are all the floats in? The water?
No,
well, we have the dead water. Oh, he's putting it in. Okay, good.
Okay, we got another boat coming out.
Here comes a float.
Okay, the other ball's up.
She's at the surface. They can see her dorsal fin. They must get another float on the line to stop her diving deep again.
Okay, guys, just settle down. Everything is happening just the way it's supposed to. If you stay calm, and she stays calm, Perfect. Good. Almost there, guys. Okay, just slide him down. Let's get the last bit.
The crew must reel in the final section of line and get her alongside by hand.
She's catching up to us, guys. The last 20 feet is what we got to be worried about right now.
Suddenly, this huge great white swims directly at the boat.
Are they all down? Oh, hang on. Neutral. Neutral. You're in the bite. Try to keep the line out of her tail.
Michael's not going to let this shark escape.
I got it. Tail rope right now. Right now.
Until they can get ropes on, the only thing holding her is a pair of small hooks.
Eric, grab it here. I'm going to put it in gear, okay? Got it? Got it. Neutral. Can I go forward or no? No. That's what he says.
Now she's tied on. The boat tips whenever she moves. They need to get a rope around her tail to keep her still.
Make the noose. Get the noose over the tail.
Get it on, my brother. Almost, come on.
Get it on? Yes. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's cleat that off. Let's see if we can get to the dorsal fin and put the tag on. Is she able to clean it off?
The shark is secure, meaning Michael can now start on the hardest part of the job, attaching the tag.
I need help. I need someone to hold the dorsal fin for me.
If she makes any sudden movements, Michael could get thrown in the water, directly into the jaws of an angry shark.
Did the teeth come off?
Nope, she's still hooked. She's still good.
So she's getting oxygen the whole time.
Yeah,
Can you hold that on?
The sooner she's released, the safer for all.
This is the hardest part. Yes.
The bolts will eventually rust off, but not until the tag has provided information that could reveal where she gives birth.
Okay.
With the tag firmly in place, she's freed back into the water. It could be around 18 months before she pups. And the data she sends out will add more clues that could solve the mystery of where great whites give birth.
That was 100 times harder than any way I've ever had to tag a great white shark before. It's better for the shark, but I tell you what, it's brutal on us. Stressful. I mean, we're concerned about the shark the entire time, but putting our own lives at risk, honestly.
Michael and the crew don't have time to celebrate. There's still plenty of great white females in the water. And the more they can tag, the closer they'll get to figuring out the mystery of their birthplace.
She's right here, guys. Right here. She's coming towards us. Get the bait in the water.
It's the biggest female so far. Nearly 18 feet long. She's only just shorter than their boat and a whole lot heavier.
It wasn't like we got to just ease on into this big fish right away.
This shark could be too big to tag.
Hang on, it's coming this way.
Michael decides to take the risk.
Flip it around, guys. If you can.
The crew add more floats to try and tire her enough to bring her close. But they're struggling to hold on.
Sliding good now.
Yeah. We can take a partial wrap.
No, don't do that. Don't take any wraps.
Not yet.
With the line wrapped around their wrists, they could be dragged overboard in a split second.
She still fights hard. Tail's gonna come up right about now. Wow.
The crew struggles to bring her close. But her weight, more than 2 tons, is threatening to capsize the boat.
Always have to be thinking about this is not a very big boat. You got 2 tons of animal hanging off the cleats.
They've got one rope attached, but with the swell rising, any large wave could send them overboard.
Keep going to the other side, please. If we get a wrong wave, we get too many people look on the side, we're going over.
Shark scientist Michael Domeyer is on a mission to reveal the secret of where great whites give birth.
Keith, just go to the other side, please.
He's wrestling a great white nearly 18 feet long, heavier than his boat.
It's a balancing act that our lives are depending on.
Under pressure, Michael quickly ensures the shark's getting oxygen.
Put it in forward, keep a little water over her gills. This fish is in the water, right? She's swimming, she's breathing. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Get the tag in.
With the initial holes in place, Michael can attach the tracking tag, racing to turn 3/8-inch nuts on a wet flapping fin while doubled over on the edge of a rolling boat.
I can't hold this. A little bit more. A little more. Right there? Okay, so I can go there. Where's Keith doing?
Right here.
Come on, please get over there. Keith, hold on to this. Keep a tail pulled over. Okay, one more. Okay, that's good. We're done. That's the biggest female that I've ever tagged here. She's ready to release. Uh-oh. Hang on.
As they go to release her, they find the hook is stuck.
See if you can get it straight, the hook straightened out. See if you can get the point and pull it.
It's getting dark, and Michael wants her freed as fast as possible.
No.
They have to cut the hook off.
Okay, Keith, ready for you.
That means putting their hands just inches away from the 4-foot-wide jaws of an angry shark. The sparks are hitting the water, so they're not hurting the shark.
Stop. There she goes. Wow.
Undamaged by the experience, she's able to swim away to recover. Michael's managed to keep both shark and crew safe.
Working these 2-ton animals on the side of a boat like that is literally a balancing act between having enough people to do the job and flipping the boat over. I could have left the hook in, and she probably would have shook it out. I didn't feel good about that. I feel better when the hook's not in, and the shark's a tough animal. And she's fine.
Despite the challenges, Michael now has 2 mature female great whites transmitting crucial information about where they go to give birth.
We accomplished what people thought was impossible. We tagged enormous adult female white sharks in the water. We never pulled them out of the water. When we let them go, they just exploded back into the world. In fact, by the time we get back to dry land, I'll be able to see exactly where they've gone already.
The team leave Guadalupe Island with their mission accomplished. They've achieved a world first, doing essential research with minimum impact on the sharks themselves. Research that could prove that pregnant great white sharks travel to the Sea of Cortez to give birth. And give us the missing link in the life of Jaws. But for Michael Domeyer himself, this is not the end. As the data streams in from his newly tagged sharks, he has much more work to do, helping to protect this iconic species and revealing further mysteries of the great white shark. white in the water.
Keep on this side of the boat.
2,000 miles off the coast of California, on the Pacific island of Hawaii, scientist Michael Domeyer is working to crack the great mysteries of the great white shark.
It's my job to come up with answers, but dealing with these animals is not easy.
Growing to 20 feet long and weighing up to 3 tons, this ferocious predator spawned the legend of Jaws. These monsters are extremely rare and always have been. Supremely aggressive, they're incredibly hard to study.
You can't jump in the water with them and watch them without putting yourself in peril.
Michael's now trying to figure out the great white's biggest mystery, where they go to give birth. While some fish spawn over vast areas, Michael thinks great whites go somewhere specific to pup.
Females only give birth once every 2 years. Well, where the heck did they go?
To find their birthplace, Michael is focused on an island off of Mexico, which could be ground zero for great white mating.
The only place I found great white shark males and great white shark females to be in the same place at the same time, Guadalupe Island.
He believes they could travel from Guadalupe Island into the Sea of Cortez to give birth. The only way to work out if this is true is to track them from the time they mate. Most tracking devices drop off after a few months. Not enough time to follow a shark that's pregnant for nearly twice as long as humans. The great white shark, a deadly predator, feared as a cold-blooded killer. And so vicious, studying them means risking this. Their brutal bite is legendary, but little else is known about these monsters, especially where they give birth.
It's one of the least understood fishes in the ocean. You have to know where it goes to give birth.
For the first time, one man is on a mission to unravel this mystery.
Tail rope right now.
Michael Domeyer, a maverick scientist with a fearless approach that could help save the species.
We're putting our own lives at risk, honestly.
Along with a team of experts,
See it, bro?
he'll risk life and limb to reel in these 3-ton monsters.
This is an apex predator. This is one of the top dogs of the sea. They're just cool as hell.
But to pull this off, Michael will need to get within arm's reach of the biggest... So now, Michael's using a revolutionary kind of tag and a new way of putting it on that could be the key to unraveling the mystery of Jaws' birthplace. This new tag will give more than 2 years' data. To make it work, he needs to haul huge sharks right alongside his boat, then attach it by hand. This makes it more dangerous for Michael. Much more dangerous.
Leaving that shark in the water is scary. I'm not sure how that's going to go down.
So first, he must put his idea to the test on smaller sharks.
White sharks are giant, they're dangerous. It would be hard to just go in the field and do it with them for the first time. So here in Hawaii, we have tiger sharks. We'll target them first.
But tiger sharks are no small fry. Growing to 18 feet long and weighing nearly a ton, they've a reputation for ferocious assaults on surfers. Globally, they're held responsible for 29 unprovoked fatalities. Michael's boat skipper, Brad, knows the dangers firsthand. 2 years ago, he got tangled up in the line and was dragged into the lair of a 10-foot tiger shark. This time, he's hoping to stay topside.
Hey, bro.
Michael's work is so cutting edge, it's attracted attention around the world. Actor Paul